I was 9 years old when the Lord just encountered me and really changed my life. And prior to that encounter, I think my life would have gone in a very different direction, because I just had a lot of anger issues as a child, and I was just very rebellious, even though I was very young, because I just felt like God was, the language I didn't have then, but the language I would give it now, was a narcissist. Because we would go to church, we'd go to children's church, and all they would talk about was, you're going to hell. And they didn't explain why. I never knew that what the Lord would later on teach me was that He's not the one sending people to hell. It's just the reality of life without His presence. So if you don't choose Him in this life, it's just the reality of what eternity would look like. But then the churches and the ministers that we would be when we were just little kids, all they talked about was, you're going to hell. And I said, send me there so I could stop hearing these people. And when the Lord encountered me, it was just the overwhelming presence of His love and His power, His authority, knowing Him as a Father. And I remembered as a child, I never knew that what He would call me to do would be ministry. But I remember as a child, I just had a desire to be to people what God is to me, to reveal His love, to reveal His word, to reveal His authority. And it would have it that later on in time, He will call me to ministry. And so anything that you have received from me, anything that has blessed you or touched you, it's really because of Jesus. So can we just give Him a praise?